I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist After Show here on AfterBuzz TV, and I am your host, Brandon Hanna, and today I am joined by three amazing co-hosts. I cannot wait to introduce them. Starting to my immediate left, you know her as a voice actor extraordinaire. It's Kittie Kaboom.
What up, baby? My name is Kittie Kaboom. So glad to be here.
Yes, so excited to have you here, and of course,
Thank you, sir.
you are welcome. And right next to her, we have a huge musical theater fan and producer. It's Emily May.
Hey, I'm so excited. This is like a dream come true to cover a show that is all about music, all about dance. I'm living my dream.
How do I have to go after that?
It's our dream to have you here. And of course, last but not least, he took singing lessons, but they didn't pay off. It's Amir Yassai.
Yeah, well said, Brandon. And listen,
Thank you.
I wrote that so Brandon's not throwing any shade. I cannot sing, but you know, at least I took classes. You got to try. It's
true.
LA after all, right?
But you realize
It is LA after
you realize
all.
we are gonna have to do karaoke at some point.
I'm down.
We're gonna do
I'm
it.
down for
can do it.
karaoke
Yeah.
right now. But unfortunately,
Exactly.
we do have a show to get
Yes.
to. We have an
Darn.
amazing show prepared for you today. Zoey receives power from an MRI gone wrong during a milkshake. An MRI.
It was kind of a shake. It was a shake.
It was a shake, yes. Thank you. MRI gone wrong. She's got musical theater numbers playing in her head, serving inner monologues of everyone's deepest, darkest thoughts. Her powers lead, though, to help her with a relationship with her sick father. But will a new promotion and those same powers cause friction between her and her best friend, Max? We're going to find out. But we also have a very special segment for you guys today. It's our own inner monologues. We're going to talk about love songs. If you had to declare your love to somebody, what would that song be? We're going to talk about it. And of course, in celebrity news and gossip, Peter Gallagher's emotional connection to his character in this show. You are not going to want to miss what we have to say about that. But before we do, let's get into our overall thoughts on this episode. What did we all think? Actually, the first two episodes, this show is just off and running, and I love it.
Oh man, I mean, I loved it. I thought that they set it up in a really cool way where Zoe's in the MRI machine, shakes it up a little bit. You know, I loved how they contrasted her character in the beginning where she's listening to just a plain, you know, like podcast of someone talking and she wasn't really into the music. And now it's like her worst fears are coming to a realization because now her whole life is music and dance. And but I love how that she's learning a way to help people. And I love how she's connecting it. And I love the music choices they picked in the first two episodes. And then the second episode was really emotional. It got me. So overall, I loved it so
they've
far.
paid a pretty penny for those songs because you know that.
I was just thinking of all the licensing they had to do in order to have, you know, Beatles songs and...
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Whitney Houston's and the big names, definitely. I enjoyed every minute of it, quite honestly. The first show was more informational, as it should be, right? The pilot always kind of sets everything up, tells you who the characters are, how they're going to play off of each other. And the second one was really, really dope because it delved deep into that relationship, just as we were talking about with the dad and Zoe. With Max, it got a little deep. Now she's besties with her... non-binary
Neighbor
call
mom.
you live. Thank you. I'm like, you live next door. You call it
Neighbor.
neighbor. Thank you very
Got it,
much.
Kittie.
So yeah, I mean, I honestly enjoyed every moment of it, and I like the fact that she's literally, you can see her almost like visually getting into her groove, right? Like at first it was freaking her out about the music, and now that she's kind of accepted, it's like, okay, what am I learning here? What am I supposed to be getting from this? It's kind of cool. I like it. And what do you think, sir?
I'm sorry, we're hearing a weird noise in the
It's okay.
microphone here. But yeah, no, I was totally just blown away by the emotional response that I had to this show, especially the first two episodes, both.
Well, it's a dramedy. We have actually someone live, Ivan Soto, saying this show caught me by surprise. I thought this was a comedy. I had no idea it was actually a dramedy.
It really is.
We were both crying.
Yeah, we were crying.
Yeah.
It totally caught me by surprise. I was in here earlier watching the first episode by myself in the studio, and I'm trying not to like get emotional in front of everybody walking by. Everything with her father was so impactful to me.
Well, and I think it shows the power. I realize that it's so important that this is a musical people in a way, because music connects us. Music is such a powerful force that brings people together that might, come from different backgrounds. And you communicate through music and song and dance. And so this is a perfect connection to have all this emotional heartache and a roller coaster of a story connect through music. So I think it's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
As did I. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah, I did too. And so we start off with Zoey receiving her powers. She gets an MRI and because she's worried that she has the same condition that her father has. So immediately we get this emotional connection and these are the thoughts that are in her head. But now there's an earthquake that happens and we don't know, did she really get superpowers? Or is this still all in her head?
Because she could have gone maybe something hit her in the head and it could be just a concuss. She could just be concussed. So we don't really know, which I think could be cute if later on, maybe in season 2, they're like, well, it was just a brain injury.
Exactly. Or I think if they had done it that way, it would be it would be too on the nose. You know what I mean? I like the MRI setup because it was just okay, I didn't see this coming.
Right.
I just thought she was going to get her head checked out for what they said, for the reason of her dad already having some affliction and for them to have an earthquake. And that I was like, okay, that's good writing. That's good writing.
That's a fear of mine that I'm going into surgery or getting dental work, and then the earthquake happens. So I'm a native Californian, so it's a valid fear.
True.
Right, that's hilarious.
But I felt because it's a comedy, a dramedy, that it could that you have to kind of believe in this surreal moment for it to happen. And I bought into it. I was
totally.
it
100%.
happened.
Yeah, 100%.
And I had no qualms about it being an earthquake and her being in the MRI. I think if it's revealed later that she's been in a coma for 3 months, I feel like it would not be as impactful.
Kind of cheesy. It's a little soap opera even. Yeah.
And that's what I meant about being on the nose. It would have been total soap opera.
Yeah, I love General Hospitals. My bad.
No, but if she walked in the room and a chandelier fell on her head and then she popped up and was just I hear music and be like, oh, okay, we saw that coming.
It reminds me of the Rebel Wilson movie where she gets hit in the head and it has
and then she becomes the comic
reality.
Right.
Yeah, isn't it romantic?
Taraji P. Henson, what men want, and even before that, years ago, what women want.
Absolutely.
The same kind of, but it didn't do that. I love that part. Oh, y'all came up with a new element of how somebody's brain can be scrambled. Good job. I liked it.
It's true. True story.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I just wanted to jump in real quick, just for people that haven't maybe don't know this, that this show is actually based off of the showrunner's actual dad had this same issue and actually lost his dad to it. So this is kind of an homage to his dad. So I think that's
so
important too.
dope. And you know what is? I'm not gonna front. The first 5 seconds that they showed the dad and he was just sitting there and having just done Frankie and Grace
and
which
Frankie.
Thank you, Grace and Frankie. Excellent show. He is a love interest on the show.
Yeah.
So to see him again, I was just like, oh, he's back good. I get to see him in something else. And then he's literally stuck. I'm like, wait a minute. They are not about to do this whole season with this man just stuck here. He's an amazing actor. There's no way they added him. But I didn't know what to expect.
But with the eyes, though, Kittie, he's got us with the eyes.
Right.
So
and I'm just if he sits there this whole time, I'm going to be mad as hell.
I think having a character like that on television, it shows that, and it is based on a true story, it shows that music has the power to heal, and a way to communicate past any barriers and past any type of illness that you're having.
Amen,
and there's
sister.
studies on Alzheimer's, how that helps people kind of connect with each other. So I feel like it does have this really heavy weight to it, even though it's surrounded in this musical atmosphere.
Right. And I like the fact that they're different genres, that they don't make it about oh, this is R&B music, so we can't play it for these people, or this is a country song, so they're not going to be able to relate. I love that part, because I think it's super important. People get caught up in that mess, Lil Nas X, I'm not listening to that mess. Okay, maybe it's not your thing, but in certain moments, maybe that song could take you someplace else in your brain and help you to develop other kind of whatever.
Well,
so
wherever
I love
you
that they're
are
open.
too, Kittie, emotionally, right? Where you are, and you're because certain songs you're oh, I don't relate to it, but then you hear it again, and you're I just had a breakup.
Yeah, super songs connect you to a moment and memory in your life. And most people have that, and so that's why telling a story like this, it's so important to have the perfect song for that perfect moment.
And I love that they're open to it. You know what I mean? I really think that genres, people get so caught up on where it comes from, and this is this kind of song that it's not going to be impactful. I mean, it just doesn't matter. It crosses all borders. If it speaks to you, it speaks to you, it speaks to you, period. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, and I love how Zoey, at first, she's very terrified of what's going on.
Right.
But then she later on realizes through helping her coworker, who I can't remember his name at the moment.
Max?
No, not
Simon?
Max.
Oh, Simon.
Yes, she helps out Simon with his issues with his father.
The cutie pie?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I wasn't sure
The
what you were
other-
talking
John
about.
Clarence
The
Stewart.
other King Kong.
The
Right.
manager, yeah.
Yeah, so she helps him with his issues with his father who committed suicide months earlier, which then helps her realizes that she can then use her power to help her father and her family too, not just her brother and her mother as well. And I really like loved that. That really caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
That she was able to. I just didn't see any of that coming at all.
But isn't that the best though? That's the best kind of show for me. When you're able to like say the next line, it's like, okay, clearly I'm in this business and I write, so I know what's coming.
Yeah.
But when they're the little things that are twists and turns, you're just like, hey,
What happened there? Yeah.
look at you writing up some stuff that we didn't expect.
Well,
I like that.
And it gives an urgency to her character, because if she could just blow off the power and just say, I'm not going to do anything with it. But the fact that she realizes in the first and second episode that, hey, I can actually make a difference and change my life and my family's life and my coworker's life and my friend's life, it all, like, hopefully she continues to do good with it.
I mean, she could only ignore it, but for so long, right? So if she did
It's
take
loud.
that
It's
stance,
kinda
and
loud.
just like, I'm not dealing with this.
all
Okay,
the
girl.
singing and dancing.
We're going to check in the next show.
Yeah, let
because
it
you
go.
already know you're about to be up and dancing with your cohorts. You don't have a choice in the matter. This is literally taking over your life. So ignore it if you want to. They'll find you. And you'll sing. And you'll dance. And you'll love it.
It's true. Brandon, can I play devil's advocate on something you mentioned about
Sure.
Simon opening up to her? I think sometimes this show, I would prefer if that happened in like the third episode. I think characters are opening up very quickly, and I feel like it would be nice to know how long these people have worked together, because like even her neighbor we were talking about, Mo, like they didn't really like each other, and then by the second episode,
They're besties.
they're besties. And I you know, you're walking into her apartment without knocking.
Right.
That's like that's like
next
family.
level, yeah.
So I'm to play devil's advocate. I think that the showrunners want to expedite these connections, but it seems a little forced to me. But that's just me.
I totally see your point, and I feel like
No shade.
No.
Yeah, no shade.
But the coworker point that she like brings out her journal later in like episode 2, and it makes me think that she's been there for a while, because she like wrote all of these entries about her coworkers.
Okay, yeah.
So I mean, but we don't know that timeline. But
True.
You know,
I like it. I like that.
it
I
sets
don't
up the
feel
story
like it's
pretty
forced.
quickly.
Right. I feel like they have a certain amount of shows we got to get through in order
Sure.
to make this happen. So in
Right.
real life, we know that people would not be this comfortable with one another, but they kind of have to be
Right.
in order to get the story going.
Yeah.
Come on, let's make it make sense.
In a 45-minute pilot, you gotta like push those through.
I
Yeah.
got you. Because you have a lot of characters, you have a lot of singing numbers, and you don't have time to
A lot
build
of
these
moving
relationships.
parts, baby.
Yeah. And in musicals, those connections happen really quickly.
'Cause through music.
Through music, yeah.
Amen.
I
Okay.
concur.
Yeah, I don't mind the fast pacing at all. This is a very fantastical, larger than life show. So it's not quite going to be like as grounded as like maybe what we experience in our personal relationships
Right.
day to day.
Absolutely.
And especially like that was a great point about the music playing a factor, and Zoey is able to see how people really feel like right off the bat, especially if they're going through something in
Yeah.
particular, which I thought was really great. And I just that moment where she realizes that she can communicate with her father, who because of his condition can't communicate with anybody, that was absolutely huge to
That
me,
was
and
huge.
that really showed me the direction that this show can go in, and it makes me really excited for episodes 3 and 4 and 5 and down the road, and seeing exactly where this show is going to take us.
Exactly.
And I like the fact that everything wasn't, once again, spot on. When she looked over and saw those pictures and she was reminiscing, she's crying to her dad, she's venting, not thinking that he can even absorb what it is that she's sharing. She just wants to talk to her best friend. She looks over at the pictures and it reminds her, this guy really used to love sailing. I betcha that if we took him on a boat, he would respond. That wasn't a song. That wasn't a dance. That wasn't even a humming. And I love that,
That was
too.
history.
That was history,
Yes.
and those were elements that they were including in the culmination of this whole storyline. So everything doesn't have to be precipitated by song.
More
right?
organic
But-
too, Kittie. It's
Yes!
more organic, and I think it's really important that this show continues down that route. And people online are saying they love what you mentioned about the characters not being static, quickly connecting.
Yes.
And I think that that's going to be nice because it can get static. And you know, these
course.
shows with these budgets on NBC, CBS, like not streaming, it can get static. So I like they're kind of punching it through, and we're kind of rooting for people. Like I already love Simon. I'm like I love his layeredness, and I didn't like the humble brag about his humanitarian award that broke, but that's another thing. But you know what we like him.
You know what
We
I
him.
like? I like the fact that you really know who people are based on these songs, right? Like she would have never known Homeboy was in love with her.
Yes.
You dig me a little bit? Okay,
Right,
but you
right.
love me?
Right.
Who's who knew? And then a homeboy that was just like, I just want the best for you. I hope whoever wins wins, but not really. Like, I'm coming for you, sister. You lucky.
You find out who loves you. You find out who hates you.
Yes.
You find out who's supportive of you. It's the inner monologue that.
That's a lot to take on.
Yeah, it's certainly a double-edged sword. We saw that it's not always helpful, but it can cause problems.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I just want to say to you guys watching right now, thank you so much for making us the ESPN of TV talk. We wouldn't be able to do shows like this without you watching and supporting. Yes, so please like this video. Comment down below if you're in the live stream right now. Like, let us know what your theories and speculations are. We are dying to hear them because you're bound to come up with something that we missed. It happens every single episode.
Yes, let us
and
know.
we love it. Like, call us out on it. We love the fan interaction. And give us a positive ratings on iTunes. That is absolutely huge. And we just can't thank you enough for your support to help us continue doing shows like this and just have fun. This is absolutely great.
I love Kittie.
Fun.
Look at how much fun we're having right now.
Are you kidding me? I'm giving him some motivation.
Yes, the motivation.
Are you kidding me?
Dance
Yes.
the whole
It's
time.
the visual. It's the
And
visual.
for those audio-only listeners, there's been a lot of dancing going on around on the table.
Yeah.
So
It
we
just
already
makes sense.
we have the first team. So we have Team Zoey and Max, and not Simon.
Oh.
So we're getting some.
Okay.
We're having some rivalries.
I'll
Good.
say I'm Team Zoey and Max, but of course this is one of those.
Good thing you're on that side of the table, honey.
Max has his issues, but I think he means well, and we do see that at the end of the second episode that he really does care about not just Zoe but her family as
But what
well.
about the toxic masculinity? There was a lot of toxic masculinity.
There was a
Was
bit
it
of that.
toxic though?
It was very toxic.
Come on.
He was treating the
Unintentionally.
manager like he was like, if that was a man, he would have never spoken to her like that.
I
That's
guess
a
that is a
100.
very good point that I had not considered.
But this problem stems from the
Cute,
fact
Kittie,
that
love
he
it. Nice
is
little
in love
dialogue.
with her, and this is
Yes.
something Zoe finds out through her newfound ability.
And-
Right, it's a lot.
And what's hard is if she didn't have those abilities and didn't hear that inner monologue song
They would
and
never have
dance,
fought.
they would have never fought. They would have never like had the tension.
She wouldn't have got that
build up.
job.
And, no, she
I don't
still
think
would
she
have.
would-
She still would have gotten
No,
the job.
Broski. Once she got in touch with who she was internally, like really did some introspection, she was like, I can do this job because she was doubting herself.
I think it helped her find the confidence.
I
definitely.
concur. That's exactly what I was
I feel
going
like
with
she
it.
still would have gotten it. She would have just had to find it in a different way.
It would take it longer.
For sure.
Well, we don't have time for that.
If you work in tech, honey, you got
Let's go.
a woman in tech.
Okay. As she said, I can't believe I'm
Countdown.
in the room with all
As a
these men.
programmer?
That I noticed. I heard that loud and clear.
Yeah.
And she
And
read
they-
from her journal, and she was
read from the
looking up
journal.
to these
Right.
men. Do you
Yes.
think a man, especially a white man in tech, would have written a
Baby.
journal entry about
never,
her?
ever. He could never. But that was the
never,
beauty of it too. Like they kind of slipped that in. So I feel like this is about to be embarking on way greater things than we like. This is multi-layered. You know what I mean?
There's
The
so
fact
many
that they
themes, so many issues that they're
this
addressing.
stuff. Because she said men loud and clear, but not snarky, not like shady. Just like the fact of the matter is, there's nothing but men in this room,
Right.
and I'm aware of that.
Except her boss. So
Her
like,
boss is-
but her boss has a lot of
Well,
masculine energy. Like she's really
she
in
got
charge.
to. She had
got
to handle that.
Right.
I wish she was
Do we
like
like her?
Asian or Latina or something. But it's okay. You'll
We
be a
like
white girl.
Lauren
You'll be
Graham.
a white girl.
I like Lauren Graham though. Lauren Graham's like
We like Lauren Graham, but you
I
know
do
what?
like Lauren
Yeah,
Graham.
I like Lauren Graham.
Because she always
but I
plays
like where
nice
your mind
lady,
is
so I
at.
like seeing her like angry a little bit for no damn reason. She's like,
She's
and
so
you smell.
angry. I hope she
Okay.
sings. Is she gonna sing? I hope so.
She
I wanna
has
hear
to
from her.
sing.
Well, she danced a little bit when the whole office kind of.
True, but I want to hear her own kind of
Yeah.
moment.
Yes,
See
you know-
why you're like that.
She's
It'll
gonna be there
happen.
late one night, and Zoe's
She
gonna
will,
walk
she
in and be
will.
like, "Are you okay?" And she's gonna be like, "I was done a day, but I'm testified." No, I don't never know the words.
I think so.
We're going off the rails.
It's all relevant. If it's song and dance, it's relevant. Damn it!
The viewers at home don't know if you're actually singing or if they just think you are.
I just don't know the words. I never know the words of anything.
You don't know. Oh.
Ever.
We're getting requests for you to sing "Sucker" by Jonas Brothers. If you want to sing that one, you
I've
can.
been dancing on top of
There we go.
cars and stumbling out of ponds. I can't get enough. I know the important stuff.
Woo! See, we're giving the people what they want. We're giving the people what they
Well,
want.
speaking of all of these songs
Yes.
that we're all
Yes,
singing right
let's-
now, I think it's time to get into our special segment.
I'm excited.
It's our own inner monologues.
That's right.
And this is something that I hope we could bring back week to week. Is this? I'm in love with this idea,
Are
and
you?
it's all Emily. And Emily, just take us away.
Go,
Alright, so everyone, I know I sing and dance all day through my day. I talk to people in song and dance. So I want to know what song you guys would sing to the person that you love. And I want to hear in the chat, I want to hear in the comments what you would
Yes.
share. But for me, my song would be
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Endless Endless Love.
Oh.
Of course.
Of course,
Of course.
Brandon. Why would you say that?
Brandon, shots fired.
classic.
Stand your lane.
I don't mean it in a negative way. I just mean that's a classic. Of course, someone has to pick that
Oh,
one.
okay, that's what you meant.
That's
It came
what I
off
meant.
shady. I was like,
I am a little
Always
shady. I'll
looking
admit
for the
it.
shade.
I love
You
the
are
shade.
terrible.
Put the picnic down,
Come
honey. We
on,
found the
Ski
shade.
Umbrella.
Anyway, I would be on the beach and I would sing it to my love, and it would be this like romantic
Just the two of you?
moment, just the two of us.
Are you naked? We're clothed. Are we clothed?
Right, if you're close,
I wanna
that's
be there
different.
with
It's
you.
my private moment.
Oh, sorry,
okay?
so
It's my
let me stay
private
out,
moment.
sorry.
All right, so Brandon,
Sorry.
what would your song be?
Well, I think I have to go very cliche here.
Okay, well, you're the moderator. So
Yeah.
you
You're the
do you.
moderator.
Work it out, boo.
Elvis Presley, Can't Help Falling in Love.
I think that's a dope
Brandon.
I love that song. I
As
do.
you should. And that is not cliche at all.
Not at all.
That is.
That's a
I would
classic.
have never
That's a
Elvis.
good
I would not
version.
have guessed
That's a
Elvis
good
for a love
version,
song.
too.
So thank you.
But that's the original. That's
Good looking
okay.
out. And I appreciate the fact that you
All
know
right.
that. Very
Kittie,
nice.
Kittie, Kaboom, what's
Yes,
yours?
ma'am. I'm getting to me. Queen and Slim. On the soundtrack, Queen and Slim,
Ooh, the good
there's a
movie.
song by Earth Gang and Tiana Major, and it's called Collide. And I love it.
I like the title.
The hook is right.
What's
we
the hook?
collide, we crash into each other, we make this beautiful love. It's so dope. Yeah. So on the Queen and Slim soundtrack, a little bit of old, a little bit of classic, a little bit of
Nice.
brand spanking new.
So where would you sing this song?
To my lover, girl.
But where? Would you
Oh,
do
do
it in a
I have
place?
to create like a
I don't
whole
know.
thing?
Maybe I said the beach. I don't know. Do you have a place?
Girl,
I
private
just
moment. You're trying to get into her private moment.
I drive
Private
ridiculously
moment.
fast and like pull into a parking spot like off some dumb like commercial stuff where it like spins around and
Like a
just
donut?
lands in it. Yeah, and then just look at my bay and be like, and just start
just
singing
sing.
to him. Yes,
I love it.
So dramatic.
All right. What's your song?
I don't want to go after that. She colliding. She doing donuts in a parking
I
lot.
know. She's like a speed
Wow.
demon and singing.
Wow. So
What's
I'm
yours?
gonna be very gay, and I'm gonna
Which we
profess,
love.
which we love. I'm gonna profess my love to Dua Lipa herself with physical.
Nice.
We're at a concert. We lock eyes. She's sweating. I sweating.
Okay.
And boom.
And it's on.
We're gonna get physical. And
I
it's
am
on.
not mad at that.
There's a
love
song.
it.
There's a lyrics in that song that says we're gonna be like diamonds.
Oh,
Diamonds.
kind of like Riri.
Kind of like Riri. She's
Well,
a
you
little
guys,
sister Riri.
all of our love is shining right now.
Like a diamond.
Like a
diamond.
diamond. Let us know what your love song is. And
We
next
can't
week
wait to
we'll
hear.
highlight another one.
Yes, that's so dope.
Ivan is saying
love it.
100 years by Five for Fighting. I don't know what Five for
Ooh.
Fighting is,
Okay.
but
Nor do I, but I will
apologize.
Google it.
We will Google it later.
Most
Yes.
certainly.
Me and
thank
Kittie
you for-
together.
Oh,
We'll Google together.
We will do this. We got this.
We're gonna Google all the songs.
Yes.
Very
I
nice.
am familiar with that song, but I cannot think of the lyrics.
No,
of it
or the
right
melody,
now.
or the
Yeah.
anything. That's
I'm
what happens.
failing.
No, not at all. Please, it goes right out of your head. You see, I had to look mine up. I couldn't remember.
Yours was layered. It was layered.
It was layered.
So what are we doing, brother?
Well, I think it's time that we move into our celebrity news and gossip for this week.
All the gossip.
So glad. Look, we can't stop singing. It's about to go down. Okay, so my phone needs to open. Thank you very much, phone. And I will go straight to this awesome sitch. We talked about it earlier. Peter Gallagher is the actor's name, who I think is quite awesome. And he was saying that he was pleasantly surprised when he received the script, that he didn't expect this to be what it is, which is, as you guys mentioned, a dramedy and not just a comedy. Obviously, with the elements of singing and dancing and lots of laughter, his assumption was that it was just going to be plain comedy. But he related to this specifically and personally because his dad was one of the generation World War II, Battle of the Bulge, Normandy invasions, all that stuff, right? And he said his dad was not a big talker, so he tried to relate to him, but one of his biggest regrets in life is that he wasn't able to get his dad to kind of open up and talk to him. So this really had a huge element for him because of the obvious, you know what I mean? He doesn't talk, and how is he going to communicate? And his daughter's his best friend and the whole thing. And he gives the example that he said one time to his dad, you know, had all these questions, and he'd say, you know, Gallagher, you'll figure it out. Go clean the gutters.
Oh,
Because
not
that's
the gutters.
Yeah, because it's a
Put 'em to
sign of
work.
the time. It's very generational,
Yeah.
right? In the
Right,
50s,
absolutely.
nobody was like having breakdown. Go get a
Yeah,
cup
you
of
don't talk
coffee,
about
son. Let's have
stuff.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, go climb a mountain.
Especially
You'll be
dads
fine.
and sons. That's
Exactly.
Not a thing.
Go mow the lawn.
Go mow the lawn, right? You'll be fine. You'll figure it out. And call him by his last name. Come on now. Go ahead, Gallagher. You'll be fine. So with that being said, I really like the fact that Peter, because I like him as an actor. I think he's awesome at what he does. And I was really going to be disappointed if he just sat on that couch and said nothing. So it's good to know that he's able to act out and have this connection with Zoey, even though they're just characters. He can see how instrumental the two of this, like this love story,
Yeah,
for
and-
lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think,
Is.
and he has a history of playing really like serious characters.
I know.
And I mean, he was on Grace and Frankie. You know, he's been on like like a million movies.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
He's been around for like
tons of
40
TV.
years.
He's been around the industry for a really long time.
Yeah.
To have him have a role like this where he can play have very serious moments and very touching moments, but then get him up and singing and dancing, I think is really lovely.
Right, he plays the straight man
Really
while
lovely.
still cracking the jokes and having a element of this is gonna be fun, just dance along with me. I think it's
like it.
seems to be our word of the day, multi-layered. But it is, it's
Multi-layered.
multifaceted.
Yeah.
Another take on that. And I think he does it really well. Peter Gallagher, don't forget his name.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job, and then with the mom, Mary Steinberg, they have such a good job bringing, and they're
Yes.
reaching like
Chemistry.
different audiences.
Yeah,
You have
well, there's like
millennials
there's
baby boomers,
they're reaching all the demographics.
Smart.
There's something for everyone in this show.
Yeah, there really is, and I cannot stress enough how much I love his relationship with Zoey in this show and their connection.
Yeah.
Like every time, like it's happened twice now, or like he gets up and starts singing.
Right.
and
Singing, yeah.
I'm like glued to the
I
screen.
know,
I'm
it
like,
makes me smile like
Yeah.
ear
Yeah.
to ear. I'm
Yeah.
just
It
I
does.
think that's
so
the
happy.
point. I love that.
really does.
Yeah, it
Well,
touches
'cause
everybody.
I feel like part of it is like I feel like everyone's like so serious all the time, and I feel
Right.
like we need more moments where we can just get up and dance,
be silly.
get up and sing, be silly, have fun, and I feel like that's what this show is, bringing joy and happiness to people
and living in the moment.
and living in the moment. Yeah.
No, but however cliche those things are, we forget that. Everyone
We
says,
do.
live in
Forget.
the moment,
Yeah.
don't sweat the small stuff, but everyone sweats the small stuff and they don't live in the moment. So
Yeah.
it's
That's why
nice to
I
reminder.
stay doing meditation, baby.
Yes,
Because I
Emmy.
refuse to be 2 years ahead of my time. My brain will take me, and then he's going to say, and then you're going to say, no, I'm not. I'm going to stay right here in this moment and love my life. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Today is right now. I have to. Like, you have to remind yourself of that because you'll go
Absolutely.
off the rails easy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
yes. Well, with only a few minutes left in the show, I think it's time we get into our predictions for next week's episode.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, what do we think is going to happen next? Where do we think this show is going? This episode, episode 2, ended with Max and Zoey kind of reconnecting over Max's love for her father and their history, because like he even starts telling him a story about like, oh, this is the chair that you love. Remember this one time this happened. So I think they really bonded over that. And I don't know, are we gonna start to see Zoey and Max start to come together? I hope. I'm on that team. What team are you on?
Oh man, so I am on the Zoey and Max team, but I don't think it's gonna happen yet. I feel like he needs to see what happens with the barista because they need to they need to figure that out. I think they need to have a little conflict in order to realize why they should be together.
Right.
And I think Zoe's going to figure out, there's going to be another conflict, another moment where she's going to have to figure out how to help someone. And then there's going to be more music and more dancing.
I think I'm predicting that the barista and Max are gonna sleep together, and she's gonna want more of a commitment, and he's gonna still kind of have his heart
Have
out for
feelings, yeah.
Zoe. But again, I want to say I'm Team Simon, but I don't respect people that like want to break up relationships. So I'm not. If they break up and then they get together, sure, but I don't think she should wedge herself in there.
Yeah.
I foresee, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. It just went right out of my head. It had nothing. I was like, okay, mine has nothing to do with this. Oh, I know what it is. I really hope that Mo, the neighbor, the binary neighbor, and her, it seems like they're about to be besties for real.
Yes.
But because she does genuinely love to sing, her job is a DJ, like literally her life revolves around music. I think that she and Zoe are about to be like intertwined in like other kind of ways.
Do you think there's going to be a big moment?
Yeah,
that
oh,
happens when
definitely.
there's
And
that?
she's going to be able to hear
There's
the
gonna be a
music.
big-
She's
yeah.
going to dance along with her.
Interesting.
Like 5 shows in, she's going to be like, girl, what would you do without me? You ain't even know who Sade was. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to
Right,
totally bring her into this
They're gonna have a
world.
moment. They're gonna
Yeah,
have a
she
moment.
might.
Definitely.
I feel like she's going to introduce music to Zoe that she
In a way
hasn't-
that she'd never
yeah,
had.
in a way that
That's
she's never
totally
been,
what I see as well.
Never been open to.
I
Absolutely.
concur.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mo's gonna kill it. I'm looking forward to seeing.
Eyes
what
am
Mo
I,
does.
right? Because Mo
Yeah.
can sing for real.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that thing about to open up and take us to church.
Yeah, and I'm
Yes.
excited to see the relationship with Zoe and her dad and see where that goes.
Oh,
and
definitely.
I'm wondering if she's going to help him communicate with her mom a little bit better.
By the end of this
it's,
season,
I'm going
I
to be
see her.
crying. I have a feeling I'm going to be crying.
I think her
Next few
dad is going to
episodes.
literally stand up and be like, sorry it took me so long to come back, but I'm back. I think by the end of the season, her dad is totally going to be on some old, not in real life, obviously, this would not happen, but it's TV, so whatever. He's going to stand up. He's going to be fully cured. He's going to be like, Zoe, it was because of you and your music. I see all that.
I
That's
have one
'cause it's
thing for
what I got.
live, Kitty. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah, you're
because
fine.
we're gonna wrap up.
Of
But
course.
there's someone saying, "Do you think anyone else is gonna have Zoe's ability?" It's a good prediction. So
That
let's
is a
just put
good
that out there.
prediction.
That's,
Good job.
that's where I
Okay,
was going with
okay,
it. I think
got
Mo's
it.
going to be able
Okay,
to somehow
interesting.
absorb what Zoe has.
Okay, all right.
I
okay,
do.
Yeah.
Maybe there's another earthquake.
Yeah,
And then-
I wonder if is something gonna happen to Mo, and
Yeah.
then Mo has to go in for an MRI,
I'm
and the same
not
thing
sure.
happens.
I don't know.
I don't know. I do love that the
shall
relationship with Mo and where that's going.
Cool dynamic.
And even Mo is suggesting like, we'll put you in front of mimes or we'll do karaoke. Or something.
I love it.
We're gonna figure this out.
I love the idea that someone else might have this ability because it would be a fun ability to have. I think it would be fun.
Definitely. Well, that just about wraps things up for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. This was a blast. This is our first episode to cover. I can't wait to cover more. We'll start with Kittie Kaboom. Where can people find you online?
IG Baby, KITTIEKABOOM, and on Twitter I'm Kittie Meow.
And Emily May, where can people find you?
You can find me on all social media platforms at Emily May Heller, and you can listen to all my musical stylings.
Oh, not stylings.
And
I'm Amir Yassai at Amir AMIR Yass_.
And I am Brandon Hanna. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at BrandonHanna07. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Zoey's Extraordinary Playlist After Show here on AfterBuzz TV, and we will be back with you next week.
Yay!
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.